entire Jacy Sheldon versus Caitlin Clark. Like, I made a video on this and like half of the comments were again me talking about how they're not really rivals. Like, I made a video before this game started and people tried to gaslight me into saying that I was wrong. That these weren't rivals. And if you guys know anything, like, these players have been rivals for years.
It was bound to happen eventually. Caitlin Clark, the generational talent, the face of women's basketball, the #1 overall draft pick, humiliated on a WNBA court. And of all people, it was her college rival Jacy Sheldon who made it happen. It wasn't just a tough game. This was personal, intense, and honestly hard to watch if you were rooting for Clark. We've seen rivalries before, sure, but this one just got ugly. Let's flash back for a second and put this in context. Caitlin Clark's transition to the pros has been rocky, to say the least. Every single game she plays is dissected online. Every pass, every turnover, every missed shot. It's all viral before the final buzzer. The expectations are suffocating. She's carrying not just her team, the Indiana Fever, but an entire league's marketing plan. Meanwhile, other rookies like Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, and yes, Jacy Sheldon are creating out their own narratives without nearly the same microscope. That changes now. Because when Clark's Fever took on the Washington Mystics, nobody thought Sheldon would be the star of the night. But that's exactly what happened. From tip-off, Jacy was locked in. Like, seriously locked in. This was domination. Sheldon picked up Clark full court. She forced turnovers, ripped the ball away cleanly at the top of the key, and clapped in Clark's face after buckets. The crowd fed off the energy, and suddenly it felt less like a WNBA regular season game and more like a grudge match. And let's be clear here, this wasn't just some lucky night for Jacy. She outplayed Caitlin on both ends. Offensively, Sheldon looked fluid and confident. She had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and only 1 turnover. She got to her spots, hit her mid-range pull-ups, and drove into contact without hesitation. But it was her defense that really sent shockwaves. Caitlin Clark, known for shaking defenders with ridiculous step-backs and deep range, couldn't get into a rhythm. She finished with 9 points, yes, 9 points, on 2 of 10 shooting. She looked frustrated, flustered, and frankly, flat-out tired. There was a sequence in the third quarter that summed it all up. Clark came off a screen looking to create space. Sheldon blew it up, fought through the pick, and met her shoulder to shoulder. Clark tried a hesitation dribble to shake her, yet it was to no avail. Sheldon stayed glued. Then Clark picked up her dribble and tried to pass it cross-court. Sheldon read it, jumped the lane, stole it clean, and went coast to coast for a layup. The Mystics' bench exploded. Clark stared at the hardwood. It felt like a metaphor for their paths since college. These two go way back. Remember, they battled in the Big Ten. Clark's Iowa and Sheldon's Ohio State had some wild matchups. But there was always this unspoken tension. Sheldon has always been underrated. A gritty two-way guard who doesn't get enough national spotlight. Clark? She's ESPN's darling. Commercials, press conferences, and magazine covers. That contrast fueled the fire. After the game, Sheldon didn't say much. She didn't need to. "I just play hard. I take pride in defense," she told reporters with a calm shrug. But the body language said more. She knew what she did out there, and so did the internet. Clips of her locking up Clark were everywhere. X, formerly Twitter, was buzzing. "Sheldon owns Clark." WNBA has a new sheriff in town. Caitlin got clamped. Harsh? Maybe. But in the age of virality, perception often outweighs nuance. Clark, to her credit, didn't deflect. "Tough game. I have to be better," she said post-game, clearly trying to keep it professional. But even that couldn't hide the disappointment. This wasn't just a bad shooting night. It was a rivalry game, and she got outplayed. Badly. Now here's where things get even messier. Fans of both players started going at it online. Some called Jacy Sheldon jealous and accused her of targeting Caitlin. Others said Clark is overhyped and soft when facing real defense. And this isn't just fan noise anymore. WNBA players are picking sides. Veterans like Arike Ogunbowale and Natasha Cloud have already voiced frustrations with how Clark is covered versus how other rookies are treated. "The media ain't watching everyone," one player tweeted cryptically. And guess what? Sheldon is gaining support inside that locker room. Her peers respect her grind, her defense, her game, and now she's earned their respect by outshining the media's favorite. This is about respect, exposure, and how the league markets its stars. Clark has been phenomenal at times. Her vision, shooting range, and IQ are all elite. But the WNBA isn't college. Here, players are faster, stronger, smarter. You can't float a pass and hope no one jumps it. You can't hesitate in traffic. And you sure can't take plays off on defense. Not when someone like Jacy Sheldon.
The rivalry now feels real. It's no longer Clark versus Reese, which the media loves to overhype. It's Clark versus Sheldon because this is about two-way dominance, pride, and the kind of fire that you can't manufacture with highlight reels. And if their next matchup is anything like this one, we might be looking at the most underrated rivalry in the W. And let's not forget, this is only year one. They're both rookies. They're both adjusting. But if this game taught us anything, it's that the narrative is shifting. Clark is still a star, but she's not untouchable. And Sheldon, she's not just a good defender, she's a problem. What makes this whole situation even more intense is how quickly everything is shifting. Just a month ago, Caitlin Clark was being discussed as the next face of women's basketball. The Steph Curry of the WNBA, people said. But now she's being dissected daily. And after Jacy Sheldon gave her that defensive clinic on a national stage, it's clear that nothing is going to be handed to her in this league. Fans are stirring the pot, and players are chiming in too. There's been subtle shade all over the place. A day after Sheldon locked Clark up, Mystics forward Shakira Austin reposted the game highlights with a fire emoji and "Defense Matters." Even Asia Wilson, the Las Vegas Aces superstar, said in an interview, "You gotta earn your stripes every single night." No names mentioned, but the timing said enough. There's an edge right now across the WNBA, and Clark is right at the center of it. Whether fair or not, there's a growing sense that some veterans and even rookies like Sheldon are ready to humble her. Because while Caitlin Clark brought a new wave of attention, and that's great for the league, she also brought a spotlight that's been shining a bit too bright in one direction. Sheldon, in contrast, is building her case the quiet way. She wasn't the #1 pick. She didn't get a shoe deal. She didn't walk into the season with cameras following her every step. But when the lights came on and she got her chance to play Clark, she didn't hesitate. She stepped up. She showed up to win. And let's be clear, Sheldon didn't do anything dirty. No flagrant fouls, no trash talking to the media, no unnecessary antics. Just lockdown defense, smart playmaking, and relentless effort. She didn't humiliate Clark by embarrassing her off the court. She did it between the lines the way it should be, and that's exactly why it hurt more. The truth is, Clark is still adjusting to the brutal physicality and pace of the WNBA. In college, she had time and space to create those iconic logo threes. In the league, someone like Sheldon can erase that space in seconds. You dribble high, you get stripped. You stare down a pass, it's picked off. And Clark has had a lot of those moments lately. The WNBA isn't giving her a warm welcome, and frankly, that might be the best thing for her long term. But in the short term, the target on her back is huge. And players like Sheldon aren't just aiming for her. They're hitting the bullseye. That game was a statement, not just to Caitlin, but to every media outlet, every fan page, every brand sponsor. There are more dogs in this league. There are women grinding in silence who can flat out hoop. And Sheldon just lit the fuse.